Hey guys, welcome to the Four Horsemen Real Estate Podcast. In this episode, we talk about the recession mindset, how to keep yourself focused, what questions to be asking. We also get into some of the different opportunities that you may want to start doing research into, how you can make this your opportunity in a downward market. Because here's the truth. Recessions don't just test your portfolio. They actually test your mindset. And the ones who thrive aren't always the ones with the biggest checkbook, the biggest bank accounts. It's the ones who know how to pivot, partner, and play offense, while everybody else is running for the hills or just trying to play defense. A recession, guys, is not a signal to retreat. It may be a signal to re-strategize. It's definitely a signal to reevaluate. Most people go into scarcity mode when you have a recession. Anytime that times look tough, times look scary, when there is uncertainty in the market, people will go into scarcity mode and oftentimes hoard cash to the best of their ability. They stop making moves, but the best investors know this one trick, that this is the time to lean into the chaos. So here's the thing. There's a couple of questions you want to start asking if you find yourself concerned with what's going on right now. If you're afraid in this current environment, start asking questions like, what assets are being undervalued right now? Where are people over leveraged? Maybe who needs liquidity quickly? What are people running away from? And what distress might create discounts? At the end of the day, this is really the question. The distress out there creates discounts in different areas of the markets, in different areas where you can make money. And those discounts are what create the margin. All right, look, I'll tell you guys a couple of items as it pertains to condos and what we're seeing in the market. There are lots of condos that people are selling that they're selling at what we would say is fair market value. Or in some places, those condos are actually going above asking. So that happens in any market. But you, as an investor, are looking for the opportunities. You're looking for the deals where someone's trying to offload those properties. And oftentimes that doesn't come just by waiting till it hits MLS. Oftentimes that comes from advertising, putting ads out there that you're maybe a condo buyer, or talking to people in the finance industry who know of clients that are trying to offload properties, and they're trying to offload them quick. And in many cases, they don't even want to go to a realtor. Why? Because then they'd have to pay the realtor. So they're looking to offload it even before that point in time. So there are opportunities there where people are literally willing to walk away from their down payment in the condo market. Now, think about what I just said there. How much are people putting as down payment when you buy a condo? In most cases, it's 20%. People oftentimes are putting down 20%, in some cases, even 25%. So you're able to, in some of these situations, go in and offer them a 20 to 25% discount, and people will walk away from it just to be able to break even. They've lost whatever they've lost in their deposit, but they don't want to lose any more. Just pay me for what I owe on it and let me walk away. And this is more common a sentence that gets uttered by sellers than you would believe. Now, here's the other one, guys. The other question I just want to touch on: who needs liquidity fast? This is an interesting one. Right now, there are people that are trying to close on properties that do not have the cash. As a result, they are looking to borrow whatever they can to be able to close on different deals. And this happens not just in down markets. It happens all the time, every day, year after year. But sometimes you are going to see it more often than not. This is one of those markets where you're going to see people requiring liquidity. As a result, oftentimes people are willing to pay you an exorbitant amount, a much higher yield, just to be able to borrow that money at this point in time. I see these deals. I've got a deal right now where someone's looking for $1.3 million to be able to close on a deal. And they are, in their words, not mine, I'll pay you whatever to get the access to that money. Okay, let me just talk a little bit here about some creative financing ways to have deals happen, make deals happen in this when we're talking about having a creative mindset in tough times, which is what it occurs for most people, that these are tough times. What you see normally is the bank lending slows down. They're not as willing to lend to people. As a result, people don't know what to do because that's the traditional way for them. In this period in history, everyone goes to the banks. So when that happens, people aren't sure how to be creative and how to structure deals. Here's some, you've heard me talk about them before, very prevalent, happening right now. Seller financing, VTBs, vendor takebacks. This is where a seller is willing to act like a bank and provide the funding for you. A deal that I saw, I probably even shared this with you guys. There's others that are happening right now, but a deal that I saw where a person was willing to finance 50% of the purchase price for the buyer. So the buyer only had to come up with 50% of that price. And in that situation, what they did was they actually borrowed private money to do that. And then once they got it, remember, they only had to come with the money to be able to pay for the lawyers and the closing costs. And that apartment building was theirs. They got the whole building just because of the seller was willing to finance the other 50%. And off they went. And now that building's probably worth double what they paid for it, if not more. But in the meantime, they were also getting the rents on a regular basis. So there's a lot of different, this is what we're talking about when we come to income properties. What are you looking for when it comes to a seller financing? Someone who's motivated to sell and be able to finance in that situation. Oftentimes, you're looking, I know this is a cliche, but you're looking for someone who's motivated. How do you know that someone's motivated? When you put in an offer on a property and you lowball, someone who's not motivated will automatically cast it aside. Someone who's motivated is more than likely to put in a counteroffer. At that point, you know they're willing to play ball to some degree. Now you can go back and forth in that process. Another way to find a motivated seller is to build partnerships. Guys, right now you should be building relationships up and down the street, talking to people, talking to realtors, talking to uh, mortgage agents, talking to lawyers, talking to the divorce lawyers, talking to all of these people because they are finding out where those deals are because people are coming to them, asking them for financing. People are coming to them, asking them to sell. People are coming to them, asking them, what do I do with because I don't want to lose my property? Or the divorce lawyers right now, my wife wants to leave me. How do we get rid of this property? This is happening right now. And it may sound, maybe a little sleazy to some people that you're trying to capitalize on it. The reality is, guys, they need money too. They need it quickly. And you're actually solving their problem. If you're not solving the problem, don't do it. Don't be a douchebag. Don't try and steal a property from them. I mean, there's people out there that'll tell you that. But if you're not doing them a favor, don't do the deal. Move on to the next one. There are more than enough people that you will be able to save right now. I know a husband and a wife who had a property they couldn't afford to pay for new carpeting. The dogs had peed on it, the cat had peed on it. They were just trying to get out of there. They couldn't afford to repair it. They were willing to give it to me at a discount. They couldn't afford to pay the realtor. I was able to go in there, buy it at a discount, and then pay for the renovations myself and raise the value of the property. It's not pretty. It literally wasn't pretty. And it was helpful to them. If it's not going to be helpful, move on. But this is where relationships come in. Build those relationships, talk to people, let them know that you're out there and that you're looking, and wait for those deals to come in. You're not just hunting for deals. You're positioning yourself to receive deals others are afraid to touch. All right, guys, look, recessions create fear, but fear creates hesitation, and hesitation creates your opportunity. If you stay ready, keep your ear to the ground, and think creatively, this recession will bring the deals to your feet.
Even the ones around trusting their word, they walk the talk in the world of investment, they make their mark.